Hello, everybody, and welcome to MangaPod. We are a weekly podcast in which we all get together after we've read all or part of a manga, and then we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. This week, we are discussing Mob Psycho 100, chapters 1 through 32, and we are probably dropping lots of frames, because we don't got too good at internet here in the boondocks of Lincoln, Nebraska, I'm discovering. So, I'm hoping that the quality is okay. So I apologize to everybody in chat if it's like having issues and stuff, but just know that
quality is never an issue.
That is what, not here on MangaPod. Never.
We're
high quality.
No, we are always only the highest quality.
Yeah, exactly. Manga quality. MangaPod quality. Welcome, everybody. Mayor of Happily Aaron, your host. With me are two of my three love co-hosts, as well as a very special guest. We'll have everybody go around and introduce themselves, starting with Dodger.
Hi everybody, I'm Dodger. I'm sorry if my audio is terrible, but I'm in England right now, and it's 3 a.m. I'm so delighted to talk about Mob Psycho 100. Can't wait.
Yay!
Dope. Dodger, thank you for coming on for my birthday pod. I really appreciate it.
That's right, it's Lou's birthday pod.
I can't miss it.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm Lou from Lidzox Anime. What's up, everybody? Also, John, thank you for coming as well.
Thanks, buddy. Anytime I'd like to be here. It's a wonderful time. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. I'm BaronJ. I make stupid, like, diddly videos about anime on my channel, BaronJ Says Words. And you probably won't recognize me unless Oh, hey, there we go. Look, it's me. Now I'm here. How's it going? Yes.
Beautiful.
It's like Clark Kent.
You are Clark Kent, especially with that mustache. You are definitely. That's the Superman, the Superman mustache, correct?
It's the quintessential Superman mustache. Just like every Superman.
All right, if you guys have never joined us, wait, we need to do one thing first, and it's very important. It's what we do for everybody's birthday, and we sing happy birthday to our co-host whose birthday it is, aka Lou. So, on the count of 3, everybody sings happy birthday to Lou. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, Lou. Happy birthday.
Setting about the anime.
Happy birthday to you.
It's always a shit show as well, just as a side note.
Perfectly in sync. Well done. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. Would not have my birthday any other way.
Talking about some Mob Psycho.
Hell yeah.
Mob. All right, if you guys Yep.
I can't not hear it.
I know. If you guys have never joined us for a MangaPod before, what we like to do is give you a short spoiler-free description of the manga that we read, aka a summary, and then we'll give you our spoiler-free recommendations, whether we think you should spend time going to read this manga or not. That way, if it sounds like something you're interested in, but you do not want to be spoiled, you can take your leave and go and read the manga. Once we get into spoiler section, you can go read the manga and then come back and watch the VOD of this on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/happily-aaron, where all the previous manga pods are hosted. So we ask everybody in chat that you do not post any spoilers until we get to the spoiler section. And we'll announce when that is. It'll be very obvious once we get into that section. Then once we get there, we also ask that you do not spoil anything past chapter 32 of the manga, which is what we read. So we're gonna go ahead and have our guest read the description for the manga, sir.
Yes. The plot to Mob Psycho 100 is as follows. Shigeo Kageyama is an average middle school boy called Mob for lacking a sense of presence. Although he seems like an inconspicuous person, in fact he is a powerful esper. As he grows older, Mob realizes his psychic powers are dangerous. To avoid his power getting out of control, he constantly lives a life under an emotional shackle. Mob just wants to live like others, but a barrage of trouble comes to him all the time. With the suppressed emotions growing inside Mob little by little, his power threatens to spill over its bounds. Along with his tutor, Reagan, he tries to battle the psychics and the spirits in his world.
Beautiful.
Ta-da.
Yeah.
Can I say, I love how serious that description is.
It's so.
I know.
It's
a
so
very
heavy.
serious description for a very not serious show.
Yeah.
It's like entirely not really what the show truly is. It's amazing. I love it.
I remember reading that before the anime came out, and I was like, whoa. This is because this manga, if you guys don't know, is by the same guy who did One Punch Man, the original creator of One Punch Man. And so when I read the description for this manga, I was like, whoa, he got real dark and real heavy. And it was just like not what I was expecting at all when I actually went in to read the manga and watched the. I only watched. I know I'm the worst because I only watched the first 2 episodes, I think, of the anime. So I'm gonna be marathoning that this week.
For shame.
Yeah.
For shame.
I know, I'm
Oh
the
my
worst.
gosh.
I'm the worst. So let's do
But
spoiler
now
recommendations.
you get to like graduate to
I do.
amazingness.
I do. I know. I feel very ashamed because Dodger, you love this anime so much. Like you've talked about it so much. All 3 of you, really. And so
Yeah.
I just feel major shame that I'm even here right now. I feel like I don't belong.
But now you know, like you've read the manga now, and now you know.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
basically you're one of us now.
It is.
Rabble,
Yay!
rabble, one
I'm
of
here.
us.
I did it. All right, spoiler-free recommendations. If anybody would like to go first,
I can go.
hit it.
Mob Psycho is awesome. It's really, I think that it's really surprising for a lot of people because you kind of assume what it's going to be like, and it winds up having a lot of heart to it. And it's just, I don't know. It's just a precious, wonderful, awesome manga that got turned into an awesome anime. So I highly recommend it for sure.
I'll go next. I thoroughly enjoy the manga. I prefer the anime just because Bones took what was a brilliant piece of work and turned it into just, I guess, its best possible incarnation, as far as I'm concerned. Like, with really talented animators and people that have a vision and a passion for what they're doing, and a project that, or source material that is inherently really good, I think being animated provides just an overall better experience. So I suggest watching the anime, but I wouldn't necessarily say skip the manga. I feel like I got the most out of the experience after reading it the first time, watching the show, and then reading it again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I also highly recommend reading Mob Psycho just for the sheer fact that if you've read One Punch Man at all, if you've read the Murata redraws and you've gone back and been curious and said, I wonder what the original is like, and seen what those original few panels of what one's art was before, and going into Mob Psycho and seeing what he's at now is insane. Like,
Yeah.
for sheer fact of like seeing how much he's grown as an artist. And Jeff actually put this really, really well for Mother's Basement Reviews. He tweeted out earlier saying, for a show that is about trying to overcome one's shortcomings and their own like self-doubt, the fact that it is still entirely drawn by him is a totally insane fact. And I saw that tweet by Jeff and I was like, oh my God, that's absolutely true. It's absolutely insane. And speaking of Jeff, and while we've got Lou here, we can also mention that back during Anime Expo, Lou, Jeff, and I were one of a few people who we went and saw the first 2 episodes of Mob Psycho 100 right before they came out. It
Oh,
yeah.
was absolutely nuts. It was a theater full of people, and it was absolutely crazy. And just seeing that kind of reaction to the art that they had done, like, I think some of that stuff we saw was like pre-production still, because we saw some stuff in there that, like, when the actual episode like premiered on Crunchyroll, it was like, some of this looks different and it looks really good.
Yeah, there was definitely like an extra layer of polish. Like you can tell that they were ahead of their production schedule, and they really wanted to stand out and deliver, especially with all the hype going into the show, with how One Punch Man turned out, how Madhouse was able to deliver with One Punch Man. So with one's name being attached to the project, like I think there's a little competitive side to Bones to really crank things up, and I think they delivered. But in regards to the manga, it's just really good.
It's very good.
It's amazing. You were gonna say, Dodger?
I was just gonna say that I love that Bones decided to really stick with kind of a polished version of his art style too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
It's
the big thing when we were watching it. We
so
were like,
awesome.
oh my god, it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah, it's great.
As the only one of the three who hasn't seen all of the anime, I still really enjoyed this manga, and it made me hyped to go and finish the anime as well. Like you guys are saying, like, One's writing is just really solid and so well done, and he touches on things that are very relatable in ways that are relatable. He doesn't try to use lots of fancy words or metaphors or terminology or anything like that. It's just very raw, and it is what it is, and it just it uses those emotions, and you just connect with the characters and their stories and their struggle, which is what's going on. And so it's just really cool. And I loved the characters in this story. I loved watching them from the start into who we saw, like, in chapter 32, and I'm really bummed about where we stopped in chapter 32.
Yeah.
But it's great, and you just need to read it for the story and the experience that is Mob and is One as an author, and just the stories that he creates. So yeah, I definitely recommend going and checking it out for sure. Do be warned, like, the art, like, you're gonna be caught off guard, especially if you've watched the anime and you're like, oh man, this anime, like, the so fluid, and then you go and check out, or if you only watched or if you've only seen the adaptation of One Punch Man, like the second version of the manga, the redrawing.
Yeah, then you're
like,
gonna be like,
what?
Right.
By One Punch Man's author? And then you go and check out and you're like, what?
This isn't a Murata. What is this?
and I also
Was his hand broken? What?
Is he using it with his wrong hand?
I also feel like another thing to stress is that when people hear, like, oh, One Punch Man's about, a dude who can defeat anybody in one punch, and Mob Psycho 100 is about a kid who's, like, an extremely powerful Esper, I think most people hear that and are like, okay, so the story's going to be pretty similar, right? Like, it's going to be about another extremely powerful person, just, like, living their life. I want to stress that they are very different stories. Like, it comes at it from a very, very different direction. And like I said, there's a lot of heart to this manga. I would say it's sweeter. I don't know how to put it, but
To piggyback off of what you were saying, is they both, the main commonality I would see between the two is they're both, I guess, framed in a way where you would expect the protagonists to be self-insert characters, and they're not really. When you look at how bored Saitama is with having achieved what he has, and how Mob is more shying away from the power that he was blessed with. So they're both kind of like in the same position, but totally taking different looks at it.
Exactly. All right, should we jump into
Absolutely.
spoiler section?
yes, definitely.
Do it so we can talk some spoilers on this shit. All right.
Swan dive into spoilers.
Yes.
4,
3,
3,
2,
2,
2,
1.
1. Reagan
Mob
is
is
gone.
got.
No.
Reagan is a god.
Mob is God.
Reagan is God. Absolutely not.
Immediately,
Reagan is
no.
Jesus Coon. There we go.
Oh my God. Reagan, like every bonus chapter where it was somebody trying to get help from Reagan, I was like, I love it. I just love it.
So, as somebody who
Reagan's
hasn't-
patented body massage technique.
Yeah. When he just throws the salt, it's just I
Exactly.
the chapter. I think one of my favorite Reagan moments is the part where he like jokes about being possessed, and then or like is saying that he's possessed or whatever, and then Mom goes, "No, you actually were possessed. Did you not feel that you were actually possessed?" And he's like, "No, of course I did. What are you talking about?" Reagan is just so precious. As somebody who
He's
hasn't
great.
seen much of the anime, what was I gonna say? Who hasn't seen much of the anime? I was expecting Reagan to have so much more of a like role. I didn't realize his role is like not like it's there, but it's so much more minimal than I was expecting it to be.
Well,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Mob Psycho in general just isn't as much of a comedy, and so Reagan is like the dude where every time he shows up, you know it's going to be a full-on goof.
Yeah,
It's gonna be fucking like.
exactly.
Oh.
Gosh, I don't even. We usually start with the question of what were you guys expecting before reading this manga, but I feel as like anime watchers, like, and we kind of already touched on it too. I just want to talk about, or do you guys have anything else you'd like want to bring up in terms of like your expectations before reading or watching?
Well, I would say that when when we were going to Expo and I knew they were going to premiere the whole thing there, I was like, I'm going to see if I can make my way to that. And one of the things that I read on the car ride up to my friend Glenn's house before we rode out and flew out to Expo was I read most of Mob Psycho 100, and I was very, like I was shocked and surprised on the trip. I was like, wow, this is incredible, and it was just a very interesting peek into what was to come. And I was like, surely this won't be as like one-to-one as it is. And when we finally got everything, I was still incredibly surprised at the way Bones actually represented his art style in the animation. It was freaking amazing. And it's one of those things where it is very true. Like people have said, and it's just like it's two different stories. It hits a little bit differently than things like One Punch Man. I even think the manga hits a little bit differently than the anime. It's definitely got a different punch to it. Joke.
Joke.
Yeah, I would say that like the first time ingesting this story bit, I was really, really surprised that it wound up being kind of a story about like being emotionally healthy. That like wound up being like such a big important part of the story, that it's like about this boy who doesn't know how to be normal around people because he's kind of scared of himself, and so he's like repressed everything, and that repression like explodes out of him. And when I was first watching the anime and like getting this story for the first time and understanding that, I was like, holy shit, this is very different from what I expected. Like it winds up being like, it's really bittersweet in a lot of moments, and you just want to hug Mom.
Yeah.
He's just
See,
so
I kind of went into it expecting a more conventional battle manga, because the only real experience I had with it prior to reading it, like this is way back, was the PV for the anime, which mainly focused on the action sequences and the bits of comedy, and there was really no evidence of deep emotional connection with the characters. I went into this story thinking I was gonna have a fun time and not a feels trip, and I got a feels trip and a fun time.
Yeah.
You got both.
The perfect
It was a twofer.
combination.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was reading, like you guys were saying, I wasn't expecting to get, because like it wasn't really dark. It was just, it dealt with some really real themes that especially happen when you're going through puberty. Because like that was something they touched on too, where that middle school is such a like crazy time because you're getting all these emotions and hormones that you don't know what to do with them, and like adults try to tell you what to do with them, but they don't like show you or really help you and show ways of like showing them not correctly but healthily. And so then you end up like having all of these emotions, being like, no one understands me, what do I do? Because you just don't know what to do with all of this. So that's what I was saying earlier with how like Mob was very realistic in terms of how, or just like connected with Mob really easily because of how his stress and like his emotions were shown, and that he doesn't know how to handle them. And I think that's something that relates to both like teenagers going through puberty and then also people with like mental illness, because it's like you have all of this in there and this stuff is happening in your mind, but you don't know what you're supposed to do with it or how to handle it, and it's just happening and you're just like, it just takes over because you don't know what to do about it because you've never been shown a way to utilize it correctly.
At its core, Mob Psycho is a story about insecurity and how you deal with it. It is
exactly.
I definitely would say that is the primal theme, or primary theme.
I was going to say primal theme.
The primal theme, yes.
To piggyback off of that, I would go as far as saying that Reagan specifically is the voice of reason a lot of the time. Within all his comedy, a lot of what he ends up saying is that Mob's powers don't make him any better or any worse than anyone. So just enjoy being himself and try to essentially be happy.
Yeah.
And
I love that he winds up actually being like a good mentor when all is said and done. Like he has like good things to say.
It's like of all of the adults that we see, he's like the most stable and good mentor that we have in this compared to like all the parents.
He is the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lou, were you gonna say something else?
Odd.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say like being the voice of reason and making that connection with mental health. I feel like that really, like the fact that he's such a heavily featured character, when like in his moments, like everything is focused on him. So like I feel like attention is drawn to him at the right points to give that message. So now that you've drawn that parallel, I like him a lot more. Like I've always liked Reagan, but now it's just like there's that extra step of appreciation.
It's like he's not like a useless toss aside character. Like he has that purpose. He's there. He's not as like when you think about it, he is just as much there, as much of a part of the story, even though he's not in every single scene as much as I thought he would be. Sorry, John, what were you gonna say?
I was getting ready to say, without spoiling anything, because Aaron hasn't seen it, there's a point that Brooke you can do
spoiler finger. I can take my earphones off.
No, it's fine. I'm good at this. This is what I do. There's a particular scene at the end of the anime that involves Reagan and how he, with little to no effort, essentially breaks down the world of some of these people, and it makes him such a more likable character because it makes you realize really how down to earth he is, just as a human being. And his echoing motto is always, "Hey, people are people. We're all the same. Like, let's just get along."
No, but I would even say, like, based on what we've discussed, this is something that's evident at the very beginning.
Oh yeah,
and it's built to that moment that you alluded to.
Yes, look forward to that because it's very good.
Oh yeah.
Well, I just like that Reagan winds up being kind of the polar opposite of Mob in a lot of ways, because Mob is so insecure and doesn't know what to do with himself and overthinks everything. And then there's Reagan, who is like confident to a fault. Will just walk into any situation, make the best of it, and be like, "All right, well."
You're right.
And I just love, and I just love that he's the voice that Mob here's when he's in a tough spot. Again, because he's like this total fraudulent character. Like it's just so.
Initially, he's so like sleazy. I remember thinking that in the anime, and then like first time when I was reading, I was like, "Oh, Reagan, you're so sleazy. Like you're that like weird car salesman character who just lies to get the sale." And then the more he was in, I was like, "I love you. Like you're so important. You're such an important person."
Yeah.
He's so good. He's so good.
So good. And then yeah, like you're saying, he's like the complete opposite of Mob, who he is a character who I was expecting. Like he is very stoic the whole time, obviously, but he still has some really good facial expressions going on, even when he's like super stoic. And he's still, what I like is that he's not emotionless when he's at like 4% or something like that. Like he still has feeling. It's just so much more subdued, but he still shows stuff. Like he shows when he like is determined, when he wants to have muscles, like he shows that. Like he has that face of I'm going to do this, or when he's like determined, when he's in the club or he's talking to people and he's obviously uncomfortable. Like he still has those emotions. It's just not. So I appreciate that he's not just this completely stoic, like to the point of not showing any feeling at all. Like I think that's something that he could have easily done for him, especially at like 0% or something. But it makes Mob seem like much more of a realistic character to not just be completely emotionless 100% of the time.
Yeah, because it's not that he's going from like nothing to everything, right? It's more like he's going from this non-conflict sort of version of himself to a full conflict version of himself, right? Where it's just like, I can't like keep all of these barriers up anymore. And yeah, I like that too. I like that he winds up, that just in his daily life, he's like this sweet kind of insecure character. And then, and then when he explodes, it's like, it's very, What were you going to say?
I want to point out something in the chat. Someone said, Reagan's actually great. He provides actual affordable services. He's a great salesman.
It's true.
I mean, hey, they're not wrong. He's
he gets the job done.
Very good.
He knows how to do pretty much everything except exercise spirits.
It's true.
Exactly. And then someone brought up another one of the best characters, which is actually a group of characters in the manga, which is the bodybuilding.
Bodybuilders. Oh my god, I love
those guys
them so much.
They're so cute.
They're so cute and
I love that they go to save Mob.
Yes.
That was still probably one of the best moments. Was them just being like, "We're gonna take over your club." They're like, "No," and he's like, "It's okay, I'll join. It's great to join you all. Thank you."
Yeah. That it doesn't even matter, like that whole drama ended up being pointless because the bodybuilders were like, we just needed to store some stuff here, like you're totally fine.
We just needed to store our weights in here. It's cool.
It's cool. And I enjoyed that they're not just these douchey muscle dudes. They're like genuinely
they're actually nice guys,
and they're so nice. And they're like, when Mob gets taken, like you were saying, Dodger, when he gets taken, they're immediately like, one of our own. We must combat, and just immediately go.
Find him.
No hesitation. They just go and just rip apart that team of delinquents.
I love that, like, right before that, they have this huge speech where they're like, we do not build up our muscles for violence. And then the second the Mob gets, like, there's just a pile of bodies of these dudes from the other school.
It's because Mob is a precious cinnamon roll that should not be damaged ever.
The bodybuilders feel the same way all of us do about Mob.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, their whole the giant delinquent war thing that's happening. It was interesting how that like
Teru.
Yeah. Can we talk about him? I did not expect the whole like Benjamin Franklin look to happen. That made me so happy.
You didn't expect him to have most of his hair cut off and all of his clothes blown off of his body.
No, I did not. And like, I like that there's.
I mean, come on, Aaron. I think we all saw that coming.
It's okay. I'm just out of the loop. I'm not like you anime watchers, okay? I don't know.
It's amazing because he's so completely shamed in like every possible way, to the point where like Mob goes home and is like, so I was in sort of a situation where I needed some help and then I completely ruined this kid's life. Like, is that cool? Or
like, wait, what do I do about this now?
Yeah.
Was that fun?
Then he turns back around. That kid's actually like a really nice guy and becomes his friend later on. It's just like, hey, he's got enough pride to take it in shame.
What I thought was really cool about that whole section was at the end of that fight, Mob, after not really giving much of a shit about Dimple, goes out and spends hours looking for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was moe as hell. So good.
I love
Dimple,
I
but he's a
loved
horrible person.
the like side bits of like Dimple versus Teru for like a few panels, and him being like, I just realized that Dimple might have been like an okay guy.
Yeah.
Like, hit me just now.
he wasn't actually so bad.
He wasn't that horrible. The something about Terror that I thought was great was when he brought Mob to Ritsu in that whole fight. And then he immediately was like, I have no interest in watching brothers fight. I'm out. And he just left. Like, he wasn't there to like be our like point of view or like tell what's happening. He was gone. Which just like speaks to like,
Hey, by the way, this is happening.
He's like,
See
okay,
ya.
bye.
Okay, bye.
Which it kind of like speaks to one's writing, and that he didn't feel the need to have somebody there do that super shonen thing where there's a character on the sideline explaining every single thing that's happening. One is just like, no, I can just show you and have the characters tell the story themselves. And I was like, yes, because I was totally expecting Teru to stand there and like explain what was happening or be part of the fight or something. Oh
Be
my
like
god,
our Speedwagon.
yeah, Speedwagon. I was expecting a Speedwagon. So and your door opened real slowly and it scared the crap out of me. I was like,
It's just my pup.
so cute.
He was just like, hey, what's going on in here?
Hey, what's happening in here? You talking about Mob?
Hey guys. Hey, I'm a dog.
Hey.
Guys.
Hey.
Yeah, I was expecting him to be a Speedwagon, and I was pretty relieved when he was not. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, should we talk about Ritsu? What are your guys' thoughts on him and his whole story arc?
That was actually one of the most. I found that to be one of the most compelling kind of small arcs in Mob Psycho. That was one of the things I really wasn't expecting, because the manga, it doesn't necessarily downplay it, but it doesn't quite hit as hard as the anime does, because they do those flashbacks very frequently. They bring a bit more of a I guess the word would be emotional crit to them. That's just like, oh man, like this guy's life kind of sucks at the moment. Like, he's always looking down to his brother, but his brother thinks he's better. But in the manga, it doesn't necessarily translate as well, if that makes sense. But it still definitely does hit home. So I don't know. I just think in the end, like, that whole arc is still incredibly great for him. It does so much. It does so much for his character.
I was not expecting when I first like saw this arc. I wasn't expecting. I honestly was never expecting Ritsu to become like an important character. I don't know why. I was just like, oh, he's the brother. He's the supportive brother who will show up when Mob needs an Onisan, right?
Yeah.
He's probably not gonna ever be very important, and he like really early on gets his own arc that kind of focuses on his insecurities and the sort of things that he wants out of his life, and the way that Dimple really easily kind of taps into what makes Ritsu tick, like how much of a perfectionist Ritsu is, and how he does crave to like be the best at things, which is why he's so good at most things, and having that sort of escalate this this desire to be like an incredible Esper and get more and more power, and how that corrupts him. It was really interesting. It happens really fast though, like over just a couple of chapters.
It was
feels
very
like.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that was something one thought up after the fact, because I feel like this is something that normally would have been foreshadowed earlier by featuring Ritsu more. Which
They do in the anime.
in the anime, yeah, like I was
They
gonna
kind
say,
of change that.
yeah, like we get a little bit more of him, so when he makes that change, it's a little bit more impactful.
So that it's not just like suddenly, oh, by the way, this is my brother, Ritsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There he is.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree that it felt very fast. Like, it felt that he went from just being that perfect, like, that brother who's, like, very sweet, to suddenly doing the whole stuff with the student council, and then being very power hungry. That felt like it went very fast. But I was really enjoying the fact that he had that darker side to him, and that he was kind of feeling those emotions, because we always see the brother who's perfect at everything as being the brother who's perfect at everything. We never get that point of view from that character, where it's like, oh, I actually have this like real envy of the fact that you have these psychic powers, and like I have all of these like actual anger towards you in my own way. And so getting to see that, I thought was really fascinating, like that side of the dynamic that we don't usually get from these types of stories. And so just watching his like kind of descent into like the power hungry brother was very interesting to me, for sure. And it made me feel all sorts of ooga feelings when Mob gets really angry and protective over his brother. It was like, yes.
And also when he like apologizes for his brother.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was
a very,
I think that's such a good moment where Ritsu's been such a violent person in this really compact point in time, and Mob like takes the time to say congratulations to his brother, because he knows that this is something that he's wanted for so long, but then also takes the time to be like, I'm really sorry that my brother did this. And you can tell that that's coming from a place of like, I've also done, terrible things that I regret, and I'm sure Ritsu will regret this later, but like, he's working through some stuff, and I hope that you can all get along later, and I'm really sorry about this, and just how like it's one of the only moments up from what we've read so far where you can tell that Mob has done a lot of growing. Like he is by far the most mature person in that entire situation.
Yeah, definitely. I was just thinking about the cliffhanger that we left ourselves on. It was the fight. For those of you in chat who want to know where we ended, it was the fight between the adult Esper with the scar on his face and Mob. The whole thing was happening. So I want to know what happens there. It was so difficult to stop. I was like, are you kidding me? But
yeah, I was like, surely this isn't where we're supposed to stop.
Surely. Oh, I'm so thirsty. Oh, I want more. So something that I realized during that was, despite one's art style not being the best, he still was able to portray action scenes very well, and that I never felt confused about what was going on. Like, I was still able to clearly understand who was getting hurt, what was happening, in a way that was still exciting, which is really cool. Like, I think that's something that's really awesome, that despite an art style being clean, but definitely not, like, that great, it was very impressive to me. And I think that speaks to like his use of, somebody in chat mentioned this, I don't know where it went, but Guitar Disciple said the pacing and panels are really good, and that's exactly why I think it comes across as awesome as it does, is because he totally understands how to use panels.
Yeah. One of the things that one is very, very good at, and this shows back in the One Punch Man days, is even at the beginning he displayed this uncanny sense of like movement and like flow in action. Like you'd go from one panel and it would be Saitama going to throw a punch, and it would follow through in just the perfect way, and it wouldn't look quite right, but it would still translate incredibly well. And in Mob Psycho, it goes even further. Like that entire fight scene, in particular, there is one frame that is Mob grabbing the guy's face and floating slowly into the air that shows that incredibly well. And it's like that's wallpaper worthy. It's like, damn, that looks really good.
Now, I have a question. Like, at what point did one start writing Mob Psycho? Like, was he already into the Murata redraws?
This too.
Because I would think that, if anything, that Murata was working with one in developing those redraws.
Yeah, Mob Psycho
2012 is when he started. And let's see. One started doing One Punch Man in 2009. So this was right around the time the Murata redraws had started, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, he's so cute.
So there's a possibility that I would imagine, like I was saying, that he worked with Murata on the redraws in case there were any changes that need to be made, and in the process maybe learned something from him in terms of how to frame that.
That's actually probably accurate. Like,
because you look at how Murata handles Eye Shield.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I feel really inspired. Like reading this manga totally inspired me, because I was like, yo, I feel like so many of us, we have like stories that we want to tell, or we have comics that we want to draw, and we keep thinking, I'm not good enough yet, so I can't do that yet. And I love that one is just like, well, fuck that, I've got a good story and I'm gonna just do it. And like, I think most people don't have the courage to do that. I felt so inspired, guys. I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna just like start making stuff. Yeah, like I'm just gonna start making stuff, man. Like I'm gonna spend my whole life waiting to be good enough to make things. Like that's shitty, exactly. Right? Like, yeah.
What do you mean? I have to practice.
I was inspired in a very different way.
Yeah.
I was inspired by Mob's desire to go lift. So I want to go lift. I like that. That's what he really wants out of his life. Is he wants to get some gains and pull his little cute girl that he loves.
Get his girl.
He wants his best girl.
Much less of the focus than I was expecting. I thought she was gonna be there way more, and I was like, I'm okay if she's not, but I'm surprised.
It's more believable that way, right? Like he's not gonna just approach her when he hasn't approached her this whole time.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I really like that there's no weird like forced meet cute or anything like that.
Yeah.
What were you guys' thoughts on? Let's touch on manga. Don't know what we've been doing the whole time. Let's touch on the art a little bit. If you guys have anything you'd like to add, and then we'll do final thoughts and ratings. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add about the art? We kind of went on it already, but if you guys have anything else you'd like to add.
I mean, to add on to what Baron was saying about how one crafts his fight scenes, I think the fight with Hanazawa, specifically the latter portion, once Mob passes out, I think that's a testament. Like that in itself is a testament to the talent that one has cultivated in himself. Specifically as a school is being taken apart and floating up into the sky like that. I love that scene, and revisiting it several times. It was so good. I had trouble like scrolling away from that because it was amazing.
It was one of those things where when I was watching the episode, I was like, surely they have to change something. They have to kind of make some sort of compromise here with the way it's portrayed, the way it's shown. And when the episode came out and I watched it, and I was like, no, they didn't really do much. They pretty much left it the way it was, and that is amazing. And that is, like you said, it's a testament to how much they respect this guy who just came out of nowhere drawing little doodles.
Dude, that on the internet scene is so powerful in the anime too.
It was really powerful in
Mhm.
the manga, so I can't imagine what it's like in the anime.
I cried, but I cried everything. But I cried.
I'll probably cry. I'll probably cry. You're
Probably.
not
Yes.
alone.
It's fairly it hits home pretty well.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna feel it. I can't like the voice acting with the music. Oh god, I know I'm just gonna be a blubbering mess.
Oh, yeah.
Right after it. I just wanted to talk about. I just want to draw notice and give credit to the amazing hands in this manga. It's just like I love them so much. Like at the start, I was like, I noticed them and I went, oh my. But by the end, I was so endeared to them, and I was just like, you feel me, one. I
Yeah, but you
can't
get
draw
the thing
hands
that's
either.
like-
I feel you.
It's like,
It's a
hey,
lot.
Mob, why don't you come over here? Like this. And it's like, oh,
Or it's just like a
Babu.
weird like no detail at all. It just looks
Babu.
like a little
Babu.
floppy,
Babu.
like a fish or like a frog hand. It
Yeah.
was so good. I loved it so much. All right, let's do final thoughts and ratings. Would anybody like to go first?
I think it's really good.
Me
On a scale of yeah, me too. As a fan of one's work before Mob Psycho, going in, I had kind of an idea of what to expect. So I'd say I don't really rate things on a scale of 1 to 10, but if I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it an 8 or a 9 out of 10 for me. It's one of the more enjoyable reads I've had, and it just goes to show that like this is all coming out of one guy, man. It's still like such an insane fact to deal with, and it's really, really great. And especially if you want to go into the anime with a little bit of clarity into what's going on, yeah, read the first couple chapters and then go right in, because you'll know exactly what's happening and you can see the comparison. It's nuts. But yeah.
I think I'm gonna give it same, like in the range, like an 8.5. I think I'll give it that, just because it's so enjoyable. Obviously the art's not the best, but there's still something so endearing about it, and he's still able to get across the action scenes, the emotion, everything he wants, which I think is a testament to how great of a writer he is and how great of a storyteller. Not just a writer, like a storyteller. Like he creates worlds and he just pulls you into them with these characters that are so realistic, and it handles these very real issues that people go through in a way that is you're very easily able to connect with the characters. And so and it's also tasteful. It's very tasteful too in how it handles these issues. And so I just loved it so much. Like the characters, everything. Yeah. It's just a very solid story, and I'm very excited to read more and watch the anime.
We need to point out, someone in the chat pointed out, we can't be rating it on a scale of 1 to 10. It has to be 1 to 100.
1 to 100? I feel...
Yeah,
well,
so at 85,
85%.
86, 87, 88, 89.
85%.
God. Yeah,
I am at
85 is a
85%
solid,
right now.
yeah.
It's a solid
Yeah,
B.
I'm down to also give it
B+.
an 85%.
Holla.
Holla back, youngin. I think it's great. I definitely think everybody should watch the anime.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a beautiful anime, but the manga is also a great little trip. I'm glad that we read it. So thank you, Lou, for making this your birthday pod.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to just sit and read everything that's out. Now that I've like finally started it, I'm like, oh damn, I could just blast through this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to give it an 8.5, but I know it ends up being a 10 because I've seen the anime.
Yeah.
You'll get to feel that way soon, Aaron. I promise.
know. Soon I will.
But yeah, it's for the reasons they provided, for everything that we said, all the praise that we gave this manga. It's definitely a gem. So an 8.5 now, but very shortly, like within the span of the next 3 to 4 chapters, it's going to shoot up to that upper 9 range, where it's going to be like right there on a 10. And It's great.
I can
really good.
definitely
Oh,
see
yeah.
that happen. I have no doubt that that will happen. Like, I don't feel any, like, maybe. I just so sad about where we stopped. I feel it in my bones. Sweet. So we all highly recommend that you go and check this manga out. That wraps up our discussion for Mob Psycho 100. So good, so great. So now I'm going to read the description for the manga that we are reading next week, and y'all in chat get to guess it. Oh my god, y'all should be so excited about this one. It's just never been requested at all.
Yeah, it's really obscure.
It's very
like, yeah, like you
obscure,
guys are
man.
not gonna get this
You're
one.
not gonna get this. Lots of blanks. Be prepared for that. Lurking within the shadows of Tokyo are frightening beings known as blanks, who satisfy their hunger by feeding on blanks once night falls. An organization known as as the Commission of Counter Blank has been established in response to the constant attacks on citizens and as a means of purging these creatures. However, the problem lies in identifying blanks as they disguise themselves as humans. Sorry, I was like, do I blank this halfway through the word?
Humans.
I think I've got this one. I think I
Do
know
you
what this
think
is.
you have this one? I don't know if I need to keep
I think I've
going.
got this.
Living amongst
John,
the masses.
you hummed the beginning to the OP for the first season.
Well,
You
I
know
was. That would defeat the purpose of the joke. I was going to say.
All
I think it's Barakamon. Is it Barakamon?
It is.
I think it's
Yes,
Barakamon.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Good
was
job.
right.
Yes.
Good job.
Yeah, I did it.
So people in chat have it. Tokyo Ghoul. So many people
yeah,
have
they
it.
have. They have.
Tokyo Ghoul. Someone said Pokemon,
Tokyo
Naruto.
It is Pokemon. It is Vampire
It is,
Diaries.
Uh,
Yes.
it is also
Vampire Diaries.
Naruto.
And
Monster Musume.
Monster Musume. Perfect. Everybody got it. Great job, team. Tokyo
Absolutely.
Ghoul. I'm not even gonna finish it because y'all know what happens. It's fine.
Monster
Kaneki
Musume.
Ken.
One
he's
Piece,
he's
Bleach.
the most tragic character in anime in the last 2-3 years. It's sad. It's really sad. His story. We're reading about him.
So tragedy.
So tragedy. Yes, we are reading Tokyo Ghoul volumes 4 through 6, chapters 30 through 58 with special guest Nick Robinson, who is awesome. So look forward to that. He's great. We love him. So let's go ahead and shout out our stuff super fast and we'll sign off. I'm Erin of Happily Erin. I have a YouTube channel where I talk about anime and stuff, weeb trash, all of that stuff. And if you want to come follow me on any other social media site, I'm Happily Erin all across the everything.
Hi everybody, I'm Dodger. You can find me at twitch.tv/dexterity-bonus or on youtube.com/pressheart-to-continue. I do gaming and anime stuff, and I would love it if you would come hang out. And on all the social medias, I'm at dexbonus, DEXBONUS. Also, I'm about to post in chat an amazing cover of the Mob Psycho 100 theme. So, since it's like my favorite OP,
You posted it so many
this
times.
entire... I know, I always do.
Iberian times.
So, you should watch that once you're done here. That's all.
Yeah.
Awesome.
My name is Lou, and I'm from Lutox Anime. You can find me at youtube.com/LutoxAnime now. Also, I have a secondary anime channel called Spinny Plus. I have a gaming YouTube channel called Lou Plays Games. And I occasionally stream on Twitch at Lou Plays Games. So, yeah, check out all my stuff. If you want, go to my Twitter, which is at Lutox Anime. It's all conveniently linked on the pinned tweet at the very top of my profile. So, yeah, check out my stuff.
Very smart use of the
Bang.
pin tweeting. It's very smart.
Yeah, like it was an epiphany I had. I felt really inspired, and it just worked out great for me.
And I'm Wilford Brimley, and if you or anyone you know has diabetes, you should call this number at the bottom of the screen and then order me a pizza and some ice cream, because I have diabetes. No, I'm BaronJ. I'm BaronJ. I run a YouTube channel where my videos are in black and white like this, and I say funny words over anime stuff. And typically I try to give you a good outcome of an anime before you watch it, just to see if you can get a feel for it. I don't really review stuff anymore. More like I just talk about it until you think you might want to watch it or not. My YouTube is at BaronJ, or my YouTube is YouTube.com/user/BaronJ says words. My Twitter is at BaronJ says words. And if you want to come watch me play games sometime, it doesn't happen often. It's twitch.tv/BaronJ plays games. And yeah, have fun. Have a wonderful night.
BaronJ, real quick.
Yes.
You did an audiobook with your amazing voice.
Do an audiobook. That was back before I was in the process of doing that back when I did the One Punch Man MangaPod with you guys way back in the day, and it's finally finished. Yeah, it's called Lancaster James and the Search for the Promised World. It is a nifty little sci-fi audiobook that has a lot of elements of Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Trek, some Indiana Jones stuff in there. And when I was reading it into a microphone, I consistently felt myself like going, "Oh wow, hey, that's pretty cool. I like that." And yeah, at the end, I was very surprised with how it turned out, and everyone seemed to like it. And yeah, I don't really have a link to it on hand, but if you go to Google and type in Lancaster James, or if you just go to my YouTube channel and you find any of my featured videos, it's always at the end of any one of them, so you can find it there. Yeah.
Awesome. That's sweet. Cool, dude. That's dope. Thank you so much for coming on MangaPod again. We loved having you. As always, you're fantastic. You'll just have to come on for when we read more One Punch Man or Mob Psycho. Only one works. So the
only one related stuff.
That's it.
Guys, I can talk about other things.
No,
come on.
No, sorry. You are one man.
One man.
Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate having you, and thank you all so much in chat.
It was a pleasure being here
with us. You're great. Thank you.
And
you all so much.
happy birthday, Lou!
Yeah, happy birthday, Lou!
Thank you.
Yeah, boy.
Boy. But we will be here same time, same place next week, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, discussing Tokyo Ghoul. And we will see you guys then. Bye-bye. Ow, I hit my hand.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.